Hello, I'm Finola from RaaS, and today we're focusing on the B2B wagering integrity platform BetMakers Technology Group, ASX ticker BET. Joining me is the newly appointed President and Executive Chairman, Matt Davey. Welcome, Matt, and congratulations on your appointment.
Thanks, Finola.
Matt, you're new to the role of Executive Chairman, but you have been the largest shareholder in BetMakers for the last almost 5 years. Can you take us through the decision to step up to the executive role and what you see as your main priorities for BetMakers?
Yeah, look, you're right. I've been a shareholder for a significant amount of time. The company itself has gone through an incredible evolution as it's grown revenues from 8 million a year to over 100 million now. In my experience, that kind of growth doesn't occur in a straight line, and that the company has different needs at different stages in its growth. So at this stage, it made a ton of sense to kind of step in and help work with management on structuring the business. I think we've got two kind of key priorities here. One is optimizing the cost base so that we can show the operating leverage in the business, and that takes time to consolidate. And then two, really lean into the growth opportunities the company has on the international stage. And that requires the right people focused on the right things. And so with this transition, I think we're really lining up everyone to kind of lean in with their strongest skill set in the areas that make the biggest difference to the company. And from my perspective, why now? When I look across my portfolio, BetMakers is one of the most significant pieces of that portfolio. And I've been pretty open about the fact I think the upside here is probably one of the greatest upsides I've seen in a stock in this industry. So I couldn't be more excited. And I think that the changes we've made for the right people at the right time, for the right stage of the company at this point in its evolution.
And you mentioned, obviously, the company has been through a significant growth period for the past couple of years, particularly after acquiring Sportech. Do you see the pace of growth slowing or changing in any way?
No, I think we have two secular drivers in the industry, which I always find quite rewarding and exciting to watch. The first is this migration from land-based analog entertainment to adopt digital forms of entertainment. And so I think that transition in consumer behavior continues at pace. And the second is the expansion of regulated sports betting and wagering around the world. And those two expansion drivers really are putting a lot of wind in the sails for the company, and I think should allow us to target double-digit growth on a per annum basis around the world, particularly when we look at the kind of growth opportunities we have around fixed odds betting and the global tote.
And Matt, separately, you've been instrumental in the development of Better, Australia's newest wagering group. Have you been happy with BetMakers' role in developing the platform, and what do you see as the opportunity for BetMakers here?
Yeah, great question. Look, I'm super excited about the Better business that Matt Tripp and Andrew Menz are leading with an enormously supportive background with News Corp. The opportunity for BetMakers is incredible. In my experience of the last 25 years or so, tier one suppliers of betting platforms have a very sticky client base. The operators have a hard time justifying any kind of need to move, and often you find them building out their own tech internally. What we have here is we have a new platform, a new technology system that BetMakers has developed, and we have effectively incubated a tier one operator on that platform. So it's a very rare opportunity for a tech business to come in with a tier one client and say, hey, here's a new platform with new tech, and be able to show that on a very large stage. Australia is one of the most mature sports betting markets in the world. And for BetMakers to be able to step in with this kind of fresh platform with such a great tier one operator behind Matt Tripp and Andrew Menz, I think is incredibly exciting. The step from this point onwards, though, is to take that technology and all the investment we've made in it so far and look at leveraging that internationally. And I think we're only really just starting to scratch the surface of that. So that's what I see as the big key here.
And BetMakers has always been focused on horse wagering. Is there a role for its technology in the fixed odds sports betting field?
Yeah, I think we need to focus on what we're best at, and absolutely we are best at wagering on horses. That said, the company has demonstrated recently that it can expand its portfolio. And I think there are real benefits to operators using the one supplier for a range of those services. It just makes the way things are integrated work a lot better. So I feel comfortable, having the company take that technology and expand it into other kind of core markets. But at the same time, we absolutely should not lose focus on where we have our bread buttered, and that is on the racing side of the industry.
Matt, this is a bit of a forward throw, but where do you see BetMakers in 5 years' time?
Great question. Look, I think wagering on horse racing, it's the second largest sector in the world outside of soccer. So we know it's enormously popular. That said, it's an incredibly fragmented industry, and I think there are enormous opportunities to kind of bring scale and focus to the industry on a worldwide basis. So what I'd like to see BetMakers in 5 years from now is a really key stakeholder, working with rights owners, operators, regulators, and leagues around the world to bring about a really smooth, great, entertaining experience. And we've got a long way to go to get there. But I do think that runway is right in front of us, and certainly over the next 3 to 5 years should be very achievable.
Well, thank you, Matt Davey, for joining me today. I'm looking forward to checking back with you over the course of the next 12 months to see how BetMakers is progressing.
Thanks for the time, Finola. Appreciate it.